Stay with me for a second, not because this is loud, but because it's precise. Because right now, in the half-light, with smoke hanging in the air and eyes adjusting to shadow, there's a truth you've been circling, but never named. You felt it the moment it happened. That quiet drop in your chest, that slow zoom where everything sharpened and you realized this wasn't an accident. This was intentional. This was planned. This was betrayal with a smile. You didn't imagine it. You didn't take it the wrong way. You didn't overreact. They crossed a line most people never admit exists. And the reason it hurts the way it does is because it violated a rule they never thought you'd notice. Here's the forbidden truth. Betrayal isn't loud. It's clean. It's surgical. It wears familiarity like camouflage. You trusted them because they stood close. They stood close because that's where leverage lives. Slow breath. Let the smoke settle. What they did to you is unforgivable, not because it damaged you, but because it revealed them. And once someone reveals themselves, the game changes. Most people think the answer to betrayal is rage, noise, exposure. A dramatic exit that leaves the scorch marks, that's the trap. Rage makes records, noise creates proof, and proof is ammunition for people who planned ahead. So you don't explode, you observe. Silence is a weapon. You replay the moment, not to suffer, but to map it. Where the eyes shifted, where the timing felt too perfect, where concern felt rehearsed. That's when you realize something chilling. They weren't reacting to you. They were anticipating you. They counted on your heart to move faster than your mind. They counted on emotion to rush the wheel. They counted on you becoming predictable. And here's where you broke the pattern. You paused. Calm is armor. You didn't confront immediately. You didn't announce your awareness. You didn't demand explanations designed to lie to you. You went quiet. And that silence started screaming in their head. Because the moment you don't react, control shifts. The moment you don't confirm what they expect, the script collapses. They start replaying conversations, scanning for tells, wondering if you know more than you're saying. That's when the obsession begins. They watch you differently now. Listen harder. Overinterpret pauses, read meaning into neutral expressions. You didn't need revenge. You needed leverage. Here's the strategic reframe most people never make. Darkness isn't destruction. Darkness is containment. You don't unleash it, you harness it. The anger you feel isn't there to be discharged. It's there to sharpen your perception. It's there to burn away naivete. It's there to teach you timing. The beast steps back before precision. You start moving slower, but every step lands heavier. You stop explaining yourself. You stop correcting misunderstandings that protect you. You stop offering access where trust has expired. And something shifts. They feel distance where comfort used to be. They feel uncertainty where certainty lived. They feel watched by consequences. This is where dominance is misunderstood. Dominance isn't force. It's unpredictability with discipline. You don't threaten. You don't hint. You don't posture. You reposition. You let outcomes speak. You let absence do the talking. You let time expose inconsistencies you don't have to name. And slowly, quietly, you outgrow the room they tried to control. This is the peak they never planned for. You're no longer emotional capital they can spend. You're no longer reactive material they can manipulate. You're no longer available for narratives that don't serve you. They expected devastation. They got evolution. They expected a breakdown. They triggered a recalibration. Silence is a weapon. Calm is armor. The beast steps back before precision. Say it again, because this is where power locks in. Now listen carefully, because this is the extraction. This is what you leave with. The rule: betrayal is information. Use it. Don't dramatize it. The mindset shift. Anger is not an action. It's a signal to slow down and sharpen. The principle: control your response, and you control the outcome. What they did to you was unforgivable, but not because it ruined you, because it forced an upgrade they can't keep up with. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them access to the version of you they exploited. You owe yourself precision. So you walk forward, clean, quiet, composed. No violence, no proof. Just results that rearrange the power dynamic without asking permission. And when they finally realize what they lost, when the silence gets too loud, you won't be there to explain it. You'll be somewhere better. Because the real aftermath of betrayal isn't chaos, it's clarity. At first it feels strange, almost empty, like the noise drained out of the room and left space behind. That space isn't loss. That space is freedom. You notice it in small ways. You sleep differently. You think cleaner. Your instincts stop second-guessing themselves because the illusion is gone. You're no longer negotiating with false loyalty. You're no longer explaining yourself to people who already decided. You're no longer investing energy where it was being quietly siphoned. That's when the weight lifts. And that's when they feel it. They sense the shift. Not because you announced it, but because access closed without warning. Conversations shorten. Influence fades. Their presence stops mattering. And here's the part that breaks them internally. You didn't punish them. You outgrew them. That's the kind of consequence no apology can reverse. They replay the moment they crossed the line, trying to find the version of you that would have tolerated it before. They look for the old openings, the old softness, the old benefit of the doubt. It's gone, not hardened, disciplined. Silence is a weapon. You don't need to rewrite history. History rewrites itself when you stop participating in the lie. You move with fewer words now, cleaner intent, sharper boundaries. People feel it immediately. They don't know why, but they adjust. This is the long game they never accounted for. Betrayal teaches you where to stop bleeding energy. It teaches you where to stop explaining. It teaches you how to recognize proximity without loyalty. And once you learn that, you're dangerous, not violently, but strategically. Calm is armor. You become someone who can sit in the same room with the truth and not flinch. Someone who doesn't rush to expose because exposure is loud and temporary. Someone who understands that distance is often the strongest response. The beast steps back before precision. You don't burn bridges anymore. You let them collapse under their own weight. You don't chase justice. You align with momentum. And momentum favors the composed. So if you're still carrying the sting of what they did, hear this clearly. You weren't betrayed because you were weak. You were betrayed because you were valuable and accessible at the same time. That combination doesn't last forever. Now value remains. Access does not. That's the upgrade. So take this final lock-in and don't dilute it. The rule: never react in ways that make your pain useful to the wrong people. The mindset shift: betrayal isn't personal, it's positional. Adjust accordingly. The principle: elevation is the cleanest form of consequence. You don't need revenge arcs. You don't need speeches they'll never understand. You don't need closure from people who chose disloyalty. You already closed the door quietly. And when they finally realize there's no way back, no access, no audience, that's when the silence finishes the job. Stay composed. Stay strategic. Stay 3 moves ahead. You didn't lose anything. You gained sight. and that sight changes how you walk into every room after this. You don't enter looking for reassurance anymore. You don't scan faces for approval. You don't lean forward hoping to be understood. You arrive already decided. That's the quiet confidence people can't name, but immediately feel. It's not arrogance, it's finality. You've seen what hidden intentions look like up close. You've felt what false alignment costs. So now, nothing gets past you without permission. And here's the part no one warns them about. When you stop needing loyalty from everyone, you start receiving respect from the right ones. The room recalibrates. The hierarchy adjusts without announcements. People test you less, not because you're intimidating, but because you're no longer pliable. Silence is a weapon. You speak when it matters. You move when it counts. You withhold when restraint creates advantage. That's mastery. They may never apologize. They may never admit it. They may even rewrite the story to protect themselves. Let them. Truth doesn't need witnesses when your life reflects it. Calm is armor. You don't correct lies that don't threaten your trajectory. You don't argue with people who already chose misunderstanding. You don't chase fairness in spaces that reward strategy. You choose positioning, and positioning compounds. Weeks pass, months shift. Opportunities align where resistance used to live. You don't celebrate loudly. You don't look back often. Because the real closure was never confrontation. It was becoming unreachable. The beast steps back before precision. That's the final discipline, not revenge, not exposure, not dominance through force, but dominance through self-command. So seal this. This is the last imprint, the rule. Access is earned daily, not granted forever. The mindset shift. Loyalty isn't promised, it's proven under pressure. The principle, the most unforgivable act doesn't destroy you, it forges discernment. They thought betrayal would weaken you, it refined you. They thought silence meant ignorance, it meant calculation. They thought you'd come back for explanations. You moved on to execution. No noise, no proof, no spectacle. Just a version of you that doesn't bleed in public anymore. And if they ever wonder what changed, they'll feel it in your absence. That's how it ends.